Compete Radio starts now.
And happy Saturday afternoon to everybody. Hope you're enjoying your lunch, getting some chicken or pizza or some tacos, maybe a Filiberto's carne asada.
Ooh, how about a chicken almond berry salad?
That sounds healthy.
But it's good.
You know what else is good? I'm Josh Fourier.
And I'm AJ Johnson, and you're here listening to
Compete Radio.
All right.
All right. Thanks for joining us this Saturday. Oh my God, who's in the hall right now? Who is this? Is it? Oh
no.
You know, as much as I love Celine Dion, I wish it was Leonardo DiCaprio in the hall right now. We would have much more fun together, darling.
You think?
All right. Well, now, I love Celine Dion, and I think she's an amazing performer. But have you ever noticed in some of her songs she gets this frog?
Sometimes, yes, I've heard it in some of her songs.
French and Saunders, popular comedy show, kind of like SNL, over the pond, did a little parody of Celine Dion, and I thought it was pretty funny. Oh, I love it.
It's great.
And I always thought that about Celine Dion, and I never knew if other people thought that too. Then I saw this parody, and I was like, right on.
It's perfect.
I love that show.
But there's a reason why we brought up Celine Dion, because we are a sports show, mind you. So
are we?
Yes.
Like with balls and everything?
Oh my God.
Big balls, little balls.
Go AC/DC. Anyway.
Bats and clubs. Big, strong men's and women's.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, we got to talk about Celine Dion because Josh and I are fans of Celine Dion, and who isn't, you know? But
I'm not really a fan. I'm really not. I mean, I like some of her music, but let's get real. Celine Dion is too depressing for me. Every song she sings, I want to cry.
I know, right? Yeah. But there's a major basketball celebrity who is apparently a huge fan.
Ron Artest.
Ron Artest from the LA Lakers basketball team.
Now, this man is a big, strong, masculine, rugged, just like I want to get you in a dark alley. And
No. Not at this point in the show. It's still too early.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yes, I do.
Because I saw how you looked at the picture of him.
No, I did not. Okay, maybe just a little.
I know. It's okay. Anyway, this is a really tough guy. You would think, like, if he's going to a concert, he would be going to, like Tupac or Metallica or one of the more
heavier and yeah.
Ice Pop or whatever he's called.
No. Ice-T and Ice Cube.
Passion Lemonade.
Oh my God.
But, you know, you would think he would go to one of those shows. But this man, he went to go see Celine Dion.
Yes.
And not only did he sit through the entire performance without killing himself, like I probably would be so depressed by the end.
That's right.
But he sat through the entire performance. He put his cell phone away only to tweet in between songs at intermission. I
know. That's just...
He was in awe. Like, he had a single tear running down his face.
Oh,
like,
my goodness.
Oh, Celine. And she's all, da-da-da-da. But I love you, Ron Artest.
But Ron Artest, you would tend to think...
Not a
groupie.
Not about this. Oh, he's a groupie, all right.
He called himself a groupie in one of his tweets.
Do you want me to read, or do you want to read it? You do it.
I'll read it.
Read it.
One of his tweets said, "We're all my Celine Dion groupies. Tweet me. I'm a groupie for all the times."
Is that how he talks? That's how he sounds.
I have no idea, but you know what? I'm trying to
Yeah, you got it. You got
it. I'm there.
He also had a couple other tweets where he was what appears to be taking full advantage of his 160 character limit on Twitter by the word "wow" with exclamation marks, where he says, "Wow, she about to sing Titanic" in all capital letters. "Wow, Stevie Wonder came out. Wow." Then he says, "I'm at this Celine Dion concert backstage. Wow, me and my boys. Wow, she said she loved my Jimmy Kimmel show when I had my beard on. Wow."
The one I really liked was Celine made me and all my thug friends cry with the French song. She cried. Wow. She hugged me. Wow. I got chills. My nipples froze.
I was going to say, you got some goosebumps on your boobies, too.
It was on my arms.
When we were playing the little clip here, I saw you have goosebumps on your boobies.
Whatever, dude. I didn't know that you were looking there. Aww.
Well,
oh, being a very secure gay man, yeah.
If you wouldn't wear such scandalous clothing into the studio.
Oh, scandalous, my foot.
This is your fault, AJ.
Right.
Yeah.
But we've got an update we need to talk about.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, we gotta hurry.
Yeah, Diana Nyad.
We spent too much time with Celine. We love her so much.
Diana Nyad made her second attempt in her life to swim from Havana, Cuba to Key West, Florida, and unfortunately, she had to quit halfway through.
And here were our predictions on how that would go from a couple weeks ago. Let's take a listen.
I just don't have a good feeling about it, though. I know that's really negative, and we're not supposed to be that way, but I have to be honest, I don't have a good feeling about it.
I actually do.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And we sure did see what happened, and guess what? Who was right, AJ?
Yeah.
Who was right?
All right.
I said who was right.
Okay.
Tiger Woods.
Oh, all right. I concede that you were right on that particular issue.
Yep.
However, I do not agree with the fact it was because of her age.
Who said anything about her age?
You did last time.
I think not a blanket statement for everyone, but I think for her, Miss Nyad in particular, I think this was a direct result of her age. Only because when she was, 29?
Yeah, about there.
Okay. When she was in her late 20s, she tried to do this exact same thing, and she failed.
Right.
Now she's 61, thinking she can do it again?
Well, yeah, because she's still just as healthy now as she was back then.
That's crap.
No, it's not.
She's decades older.
Yeah, but she still took care of herself.
But we're human beings, and we have to face the fact that we do age. We get older. Our bodies aren't as strong as they used to be. I'm not objecting that maybe she was in perfect health for her age, but at the same time, trying to swim, what was it, 203 miles, you said?
103.
103 miles across the ocean without a shark tank, I think is just a little arrogant.
Well, she did say that it was the wind and the current conditions that kind of, made her stop.
Well, I mean, good Lord, what other conditions could affect her? You're swimming in the water. There's going to be currents. There's going to be wind. Was there a hurricane hovering over her head? No. This was simply because she was not athletic enough to make it happen. We saw it in her late 20s, and we're seeing it now in her 60s. That's all I'm saying.
All right. We've got a jam-packed show for you, folks. Lots about football because football season is starting. And
football! And
a lot of issues going on with baseball and a lot of funny stuff happening towards the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
So stick around.
Our board is overflowing with material to talk about. So let's go ahead and get this break out of the way. Then we're going to come back. And we're going to entertain you through your lunch dessert. I'm assuming you're at your dessert now. It's 12:10.
My voice. Most buzzworthy.
Complete Radio.
Welcome. 6 to 7. Through the 4, and you're in the cutback. Ready, 6. Once.
Complete radio.
My voice.
And welcome back to the show. It is now about 12:14. Hope you're enjoying your lunch. Take it slow. Listen to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourier, here with the fabulous, wonderful, undoubtedly gorgeous
AJ Johnson.
I was talking about myself, AJ.
Oh my. Got a little big of a... Never mind.
Whoa. I thought it was too early for that. Alright, so, whenever you're doing a live radio show, sometimes you say things that...
You don't necessarily mean?
Well, not that you don't mean, but perhaps that you shouldn't broadcast to the public.
Yes.
For example, there was a radio guy who decided to call the Giants pitcher an illegal alien, which, as we know now, according to the handbook from political correctness, there you go, right?
Yeah.
Saying illegal alien is politically incorrect. It's almost as bad as saying some other politically incorrect words that we won't even go there. But the point was, this is what he said, and basically, what makes me mad about it, I mean, I understand his slip-up, but his apology is what made me mad.
Of course, this is like Josh's sticking point, folks. Just about any time something has to happen publicly.
Well, he only apologized somewhat. And no, it wasn't on Twitter. It was on Facebook, which doesn't make it any better. Mm-mm. But listen to what he says, AJ, okay?
And his name is Tony Bruno.
Tony Bruno?
Bruno.
All right, here's what he says. I did remove my post and apologize for my comments regarding illegal aliens. I was angry, and on the air I stand behind my comments. Okay, you're apologizing, really? That Bruce Bochy is a coward, as are all managers who order pitchers to throw at guys just because their pitchers can't get a guy out. All of you people are resorting to name-calling and are more classless and vile. Now, if you're apologizing, you don't say...
mean and hurtful things afterwards.
You don't repeat the word in your apology that you're apologizing for, because you're not supposed to be saying the word in the first place.
Correct.
Kind of like AJ if I never mind. All right, I think we all get the point.
Yeah, and it all stemmed from Ramon Ramirez hitting a pitcher in a game between the Giants and the Phillies. And Tony Bruno got upset, thinking that Bruce Bochy, the coach of the Giants, ordered it to happen, and it just absolutely insane.
Across the board, from all these Twitter apologies to Facebook to whatever, all of these apologies are coming across as so almost comical in a way, because none of them are genuine, and that's the problem. All of these people are trying to apologize, and nothing is genuine. So, radio guy, knock it off. Yeah.
Now, the White Sox, here's another issue that I was a little...
Perturbed
about.
Scoffed.
But I also see it from both sides.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation.
From the front and the back.
The Gay Softball World Series being held in Chicago this year.
Yes.
Okay, happening, I believe, at the end of the month.
Yes.
And the White Sox...
August 29th and 30th.
The White Sox were offered a chance to, quote-unquote, make good with the GLBT community by having one of their players, Gordon Beckham.
Oh, the Gets Is Gay guy.
Yes.
He drew that in the sand at the one of the games.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. They wanted him. The Gay Softball World Series offered to have Beckham come to the series and throw out the first pitch as a sign of solidarity and a sign that Beckham is remorseful for what he has said and what he did on the field. The White Sox said, no way. He immediately realized what he did was wrong, and he's made up for it, and there's absolutely no need, and the White Sox feel that it's a humiliation tactic against Beckham. to have him come out and throw out the first pitch. But
well, this could be very similar to whenever Eminem released a song years ago that was very anti-gay, had a lot of anti-gay slurs. And then later at the, I believe it was the MTV Music Awards show, we saw Eminem and Elton John perform together, and that was kind of the not saying anything but saying everything at all kind of moment for Eminem and Elton John to go hand in hand, singing and playing and everything. So this was supposed to be kind of like that, right? Where, Beckham was supposed to come out, throw the pitch, and then that's it, right?
Right.
But the White Sox fear that Beckham is going to be assaulted,
vilified,
taunted, name-calling, things thrown at him, whatever, by the gay people.
Yes. And the GLBT community and the organizers of the World Series, the Gay World Series, are emphatically denying that. They're saying, no, that's not what we were attempting to do.
I mean, I understand on for the White Sox and for Beckham to say, hey, I said I was sorry, drop it. On the other hand, this should be an honor. Forget about what you've done and who you are. If the Gay Softball World Series is coming to you, AJ, and they're saying, we want you to throw the first pitch, wouldn't that be an incredible honor for you?
Yes, it would be.
And
but being Gordon Beckham at the time, I would be just as wishy-washy about it as anybody else. I mean, given his position, he's the man who's got to go out there and stand in front of all of those individuals. In a sense, I can see it from his side, where he would think, I'm going out there and they're just going to bring up all of this dirt all over again. I thought I was done with the issue. Bam, why can't I just leave it alone?
I think it's because it's almost the same atmosphere recreated. I think it was because he had enough cojones to go and stand in front of all of those people and draw on the sand that Getz is gay in front of all those people, without fear of the gay people then. But now that he's being asked to do something which is he should be honored to do, he's not doing it. And if it is totally based on what just happened with the whole writing in the sand thing, then fine, I understand. But on the other hand, why would we want someone there that doesn't want to be there anyway?
Precisely.
And I think we have a few comments that have come in through the Faceplace about this. Softballer says, bleh. Invite someone, oh look at that, invite someone who actually supports us and would want to come, not someone who is serving a sentence to our community. Why not invite Michael Irvin or Grant Hill or someone with a bit more care for gays in sports? They don't have to be from Chicago. He doesn't want to come. Of course he's going to be busy with his game, and why would we want someone there who does not want to be there? My thoughts exactly. Thank you, Softballer.
And Brett in New York posted right after that saying, I agree with you, Softballer. We don't need him or the other homophobe Ozzy. On the other hand, if Paul Konerko would show up, ...
All right, and here we go again. Oh, well, look at that. It's Softballer. It looks like we have a bit of a chat in our comments. Softballer says, I certainly would not complain about Konerko. Smiley face. Big smiley face.
Very big smiley face.
And then, AJ, did you want to read the last one, or do you want me to?
You do it.
Okay. Then the last one, I guess, is kind of where Beckham is coming from. It says, how drawn out. This is from Dehinkanus? Dehinkanus? Whatever. Okay. Thank you, Anus, for writing in. It says, how drawn out is this Beckham thing going to be? It was a dumb, childish prank on his part, but he apologized, and sincere or not, it's time to move on. Well, I think everybody has moved on. I think it's the point of, putting that final nail in it, coming in, throwing the pitch, do something that shows good faith. You made a very tasteless move out there on the field, drawing in the sand. Do something tasteful and honorable and throw the first pitch at the Gay Softball World Series. Come on, Beckham. All right, I'll stop. We have more to get on to.
That's true.
All right. Sorry.
Now, especially about this particular, it's almost funny this issue with the Major League Baseball.
What is that smell?
Oh, you mean the one that smells like deer antler spray?
Do you have a can of deer antler spray? Oh my God, it's right what is this?
It is an...
AJ brought in a can of deer antler spray.
It is supposed to be an alternative to steroids.
I
can't handle the roid rage.
It's not opened.
No.
What's going on with the deer antler spray?
Major League Baseball sent out notices to all of their players in both the major leagues and the minor leagues to stop ingesting deer antler spray.
Like they're huffing it?
They're like ingesting it, either drinking it or huffing it or whatever they have to do to ingest it.
Oh my God.
Yes. Deer antler spray. Can you dig it? I mean...
Can you dig it?
I mean...
No.
Deer antler spray. They take young male deer and they extract this hormone out of the deer's antlers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turn it into a chemical spray. And it's more popularly used by hunters. However, MLB players apparently have gotten wind of it and thought, that'll be good for me because it'll give me what I want without all the roid rage.
And so here's what they're doing. Apparently they're spraying the substance under their tongue. One manufacturer even touts among its benefits anabolic or growth stimulation, athletic performance, and muscular strength and endurance. So one of the manufacturers is even promoting this. IGF-1, like HGH, cannot be detected in the urine test used by baseball. Under the right circumstances, though, it could be detected in a blood test, but the Players Association has not agreed to blood testing. Basically, it's a warning that, hey, blood tests are coming.
Yeah.
Why in the world would anyone say, I want to... this has to be harmful. It has to be harmful.
You think?
Well, I mean, there's very little we can do in today's times that is not harmful, but to deliberately put deer antler spray under your tongue, which is the quickest way to get it into your...
bloodstream.
Other than injecting it, right?
Right.
I mean, oh my gosh.
You just... Things that make you go, huh? I mean...
Well, and it has to be so much cheaper than getting the steroids.
Yeah.
You can just go down to Walmart and pick it up.
Not necessarily Walmart, but any sporting goods store, yeah. Dick's, REI, Bass Pro Shops.
Okay.
They'll go ahead and they won't do marijuana, they won't do coke, but they'll go ahead and they'll spray something completely unnatural into their mouth.
Well, coke isn't natural.
I know coke is unnatural, but...
But I get what you're saying. But the whole thing with this deer antler spray, though, is that it gives the same effects as these illegal steroids that they're using.
But if you come down off of deer antler spray, what's going to happen? Because we've seen the effects of coming down off of steroids with, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. They ended up losing a lot of weight, a lot of muscle mass, etc.
Anytime you do drugs, you might have some short-term benefits, but long-term, it never fails. You're coming down. We got to take a break, though. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is Compete Radio.
Girl talk. Wow, that was so flat and off key.
For you, maybe.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about me. Oh, that was Ultraviolet Sound, I believe, singing Girl Talk. And AJ, this is totally not on our production board, nothing on the schedule about this, but you have come into the studio, and it appears that you were on the computer during our break, and you are very, very... I have actually never seen your hair this red. You were so angry. And that was a laugh to be scared of. If you could see her face right now. Don't hurt me.
I'm not going to hurt you.
Can we get security?
No. Anyway.
All right.
I am incensed about this next story. It is absolutely preposterous.
Tell me, AJ.
Well, Real Madrid, a pro soccer team from Europe, has just signed a soccer prodigy from Argentina who goes by the name of Leo. However, he's only 7 years old. I am mortified as a former player and as a mom. This is ridiculous. This has absolutely no place in the world of soccer. This is wrong.
Don't 7-year-olds play soccer?
Yes, but not at a professional adult men's level.
So this 7-year-old is playing on a team with adults.
Yes. And he's getting paid for it.
Oh, wow. He must be really good.
That doesn't matter. That's my point. I don't care how gifted the kid is. There is more propensity for this little boy to be injured, to be completely hurt, and to lose all sense of his childhood. Because he is going to be so wrapped up in this machine that is run by adults.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between, doing this and being a child actor? Because
being a child actor, there are laws in place.
Yeah.
In order for that child to go ahead and perform. With this particular sport, there are no laws in place. They put him on the field and, excuse me, but he's liable to get hurt.
Oh.
And that's just putting it mildly, folks. I mean, he's 7 years old. And the reason why Real Madrid picked him up is because another rival team, Atletico Madrid, was pursuing him.
So there's absolutely no rules or regulations regarding the minimum age of a player on any of these teams?
Apparently not.
Okay.
And that's not right.
And his parents gave consent, obviously, for him to do this.
Yeah.
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 Well,
what would you think, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, give us a call. 602-539-0280. Let us know what you think. Is having a child, a literal child, 7 years old, compete at an adult level legal? Is it professional? Is it sane? Is it okay? It's not, in my opinion. It is absolutely not, in my opinion. I used to coach. I used to referee. I used to play. So I know a lot about the sport. And men at that level in pro soccer will demolish another adult, let alone a kid on the field.
So, AJ, how do you feel about this? I'm just joking.
I know you are.
I know. And you're a mother. I understand. You're upset about it. I don't have a child of my own. Yet, my baby basket is all dried up.
Stop.
No, but, I mean, as a mother, I can understand, why you're angry about this. 7 years old playing with a bunch of grown men is obviously scary.
Yes.
I would imagine American football, that scenario, never in a million years would you do something like that. I wonder if maybe we could look into because this is overseas. Maybe we could look into the rules a little more extensively and see exactly what's going on. Are they making him go to school still? Is he going to be in all the games or just some?
That is something that I would like to get some more research on. However, I'm afraid of what I'll find.
Okay.
Because I'm really good at research, and I'll find stuff that'll probably just make me even angrier. So, I might as well just leave the issue here, but I do want to hear your comments. You can go ahead and email us at competeradio.com, or you could go ahead and call us at 602-539-0280 and let us know what you think. Is it okay for a 7-year-old prodigy to sign and fulfill a pro soccer contract? It's absolutely asinine and insane.
All right. Well, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, if he's that talented on an athletic level to keep up with these guys, I mean, wonderful. But on the other hand, what if he does get hurt? I guess that's,
And from my experience, it's not just about his physical ability to play the game and his talent and skills to play the game. It's his mental capacity to understand just what he's getting into at that particular level.
Yeah, because if you think back to whenever you were 7 years old and some of the things you thought, totally different person now, right?
Right.
Learned so much more. Okay, wow. Just real quickly, can we get to the naked guy?
Since we're talking about people across the pond, why not?
Okay. So, apparently, we are having some hard economic times.
Notice the number of times he says hard.
Roger Skedd is a naked Olympic hopeful for hire. So, now if you're in the UK and you want a hot, naked Olympic hopeful to work at your party, well, you're in luck. Roger Skedd is funding his Olympic training in part by working at nights as a naked butler at private parties, including those of gay men. So, I'm assuming it's a known fact he'll work at a women's party, but also gay men. He has no limits, no obligations. I don't know. I mean, if you're wanting to get into the Olympics, you have this open book history of being basically an escort or a stripper, male erotic dancer. What do you think don't you think that would impact his future?
I definitely think so. I think that the IOC won't let him participate.
I don't think it will. Only because it's a guy. I think if this were a woman, then I think it would impact her future.
No, I think it'll impact their futures. Really, I do, because the IOC has morality issues with their particular competitors, and that's one of them.
But, I mean, look at the guy. How could you say no to that face?
Well, considering it's not a picture with him smiling, then, I could say, I could probably deny that face.
Oh, whatever. He's gorgeous. Anyway, all right, we have some comments to get to. AJ?
Jimbo says that sometimes a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Ha ha ha. And Mark M. says, the coolest part of the story is that even though he's apparently straight, he's comfortable working gay leather parties and knows how to politely establish boundaries while still staying employed. Eye-opener, huh? For some of us, those parties are just another weekend evening. Well, I don't know if you can speak for him on establishing boundaries as if you know him, but thank you, Mark M. We need to take a break. Log on to CompeteRadio.com. I'm Josh.
And I'm AJ.
And we'll be right back after this. Stay with us.
Today, your radio is gay. You're listening to Compete Radio.
It's the libido's mantra. Yeah, it goes bound, chicka wow wow. Baby, come to mama.
What the hell? I feel dirty.
Well, you shouldn't. It's a great song.
It's a dirty song.
Okay.
How are you, AJ?
I'm doing okay. We still have lots to get through before we get to our next hour, but I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Hey, we got a special guy here right now. His name's Buddy with the news.
Here's some breaking news. I loved that song.
Did you really?
I did. I've never heard it before, but it got me grooving here.
See?
in the studio.
See?
Gotcha.
I did that.
Well, see, I'm surprised you like this song because you were saying last week how you were uptight.
Yes. Now, I don't know that I would necessarily call myself uptight, but I have been called uptight. Just because of certain morals that I have and the way I behave in public and my attitudes towards some things. I'm very open-minded, but I have been called uptight.
But you're more traditional.
I am an old-fashioned, traditional homosexual, yes.
So you want to have, like, the husband,
Yeah.
children, family.
I don't know about the children because I'm not a big fan of kids.
Okay.
In general.
And that usually doesn't get better with age. So you usually you always have liked kids or you never liked them. So.
I can like them for about a half hour at a time, and then I've got to give them back to their
So you can
parents.
you can babysit, but that's it.
Yeah, in fact, I babysat a newborn just about a month ago. He was about 5 months old. I babysat him for like 2-3 hours.
FYI, Mr. Babysitter, next week is going to get crazy.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you're going to be able to
There's not
handle
going
it.
to be kids running around the studio, are there?
No, but it is the mastermind, the creator behind Boy Butter, Mr. Feldman.
Oh, awesome.
He's going to be on the show.
As uptight as I am, I do know what Boy Butter is.
Well,
Okay, so enlighten a
uptight
and tell
anymore.
me.
What did you say?
I said enlighten a and tell me. What is Boy Butter?
You can't say that.
Yes, you can.
You can't say that on the air.
Yes, you can.
Oh my gosh. Boy Butter is a lubricant designed more for gay men. It's more longer lasting. It's condom compatible. It's more pleasurable in many ways as opposed to traditional lubricants like KY, which are made primarily for women.
And he's going to be on our sports show?
Yes, he is, because I'll show you a picture of him. He is a gorgeous,
Oh, is he really?
gorgeous athlete.
I may have to sit in on that interview.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so part of it we're going to talk about Boy Butter and see if maybe he'll give our listeners a big discount to order some. Other part, we're going to talk about all of his agenda on his athletic schedule.
Wow.
But right now, I want to talk about what's in Buddy's hand, because that is like top of my
Well,
priority
yeah,
list.
these are a couple of news stories that you might have read about in the last week. You know, we've been talking a lot about football on this show, at least when I come on, and I thought I'd give you a break this week. Although there is a football topic that I want to discuss in a minute.
No.
But you may have heard the big story in the last week was in the world of golf.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yes, Tiger Woods.
Well, yeah, it did involve Tiger Woods. Last weekend at the Bridgestone Invitational, Adam Scott ended up victorious. Adam Scott was using Tiger Woods' former caddy, Stevie Williams. He was let go by Tiger earlier this summer. It could have been, a peaceful... I've been lucky I've never been fired in my life, but I've had to fire people, and I've certainly left jobs, and, there's some uncomfortableness there, but you always want to kind of keep it amicable. This was not amicable, at least not on the caddy's end.
Right.
So Adam Scott picks up Stevie Williams as a caddy for this tournament. Adam Scott wins it. Immediately, CBS reporter is sticking a microphone in Stevie Williams' face.
Yes.
Which I thought was a little shady, because why do you want to talk to the caddy in the first place unless you're trying to start something?
Because you want
Precisely.
to get a headline.
And he did, because this Stevie Williams... basically, the criticism is that in this interview he gave to CBS, he took a lot of the credit for Adam Scott's victory. Used the I word. This is the greatest victory of my career. So it was very comical, but he got a lot of criticism from some other caddies, but mainly from other golfers on the tour who kind of said, hey, don't forget, there was a guy who was actually hitting the ball who won this tournament. So it's been a big to-do all week. Tiger hasn't really responded, and I have to say I kind of respect Tiger for that, trying not to inflame this. AJ's giving me the stink eye here.
No, not a stink eye. It's a what the heck, man. No.
That's just her face.
Okay. That's just how she looks? No. Okay.
No. I mean...
AJ's gorgeous.
You've got respect for Tiger Woods.
Yes.
How can you have respect for that man right now?
Oh, I've always had respect for Tiger Woods as an athlete, for one. I mean, he's one of the greatest... He's one of the greatest golfers ever, possibly will be the greatest golfer ever by the time he's done. Now, okay, Tiger Woods cheated on his wife.
Correct.
Apparently a lot.
Yes.
He went to a rehab for sex addiction. He's a flawed man, no doubt about it. Do I care that he cheated on his wife? No, they're not friends of mine. I don't know them personally, so I don't really. It's not something I'm concerned with. Just as I don't care who Jennifer Aniston is dating and who broke up with him in Hollywood.
But Tiger is still on a rough road because his it's a very long-term sponsor, Tag Heuer,
right? Yeah,
just dropped him after what 10, 20 years.
Yeah, there is concern that he might even get dropped by Nike.
Yeah,
which would be a big blow. Of course, Tiger's got $100 million in the bank. So that's not going to be that big of a deal.
Well, and you might disagree with this, buddy, but last week on the show, you brought up Tiger Woods. Not last week, the week before.
Yes.
AJ, you brought up Tiger Woods, and after making fun of how you said his name, I said I don't want to talk about him. And you're like, well, it's a news story. I'm like, I don't care. He's a disgusting person. I don't want to talk about him. Let's move on.
Thank you.
And you asked me, is this about his personal life? And, that my response was yes. Now, I don't know. I don't know if is his person. That's how he affected me.
Okay. How did he affect you, though?
My views on him.
Okay.
That's how he affected my views on him. And I'm wondering if that his personal life is affecting media and sponsors and everyone else as well.
Certainly.
Precisely. That's exactly what I was going to touch upon. He was well respected by just about everybody, myself included.
Yeah, me too.
For his accomplishments out on the course.
Right.
And then when his personal life is now more sensationalized, my respect for him has completely degraded down to almost nothing.
Okay, but AJ, this is the big thing. We looked at Tiger Woods and we thought, wow, what an amazing player. What an amazing guy. And we put him up on this pedestal. Then the reality of his personal life comes out, and it's just like a kick in the gut to all of us because we had him up on this pedestal.
True.
And seeing him behaving this way is just such a disappointment.
You can't help but form a judgment when you read the news story about this kind of thing, or you see, the news about Tiger Woods cheating on his wife. Certainly, everyone, you can't help judging that, in your own way. My intent was not to dredge up all that again, because I don't know which athletes out there are cheating on their wives, or are doing drugs, or are doing shady things on the side. We happen to know about Tiger because that was a big deal, but there's probably a lot of athletes who are doing things that don't fit my moral code.
Well, most guys in general.
It doesn't really concern me.
Yeah.
But the thing about Tiger, since the news came out 2 Thanksgivings ago about him cheating on his wife, there was the car accident, there was all of the drama that followed, and in those ensuing almost 2 years now, he has not inflamed the situation. He doesn't talk about it publicly. He's tried to deal with his drama himself and not put it out there in the media. Yeah. And lately, with this Stevie Williams flap, with him coming out, flapping his gums about this is my greatest victory ever, him coming out after he was let go by Tiger to let everyone know how disappointed he is and that Tiger didn't even do it face-to-face, which Tiger says he did.
Yeah.
Tiger is not giving the media any kind of response to run with. He's in that respect, he's been kind of a private person. He wants to talk about golf, and I do respect him for that.
I'm sorry.
I think it's time for him to retire, personally.
I do, too.
He had a press conference earlier this week after a practice round, getting ready for the PGA Championship that's going on this weekend in Atlanta.
Right.
He had a press conference and said, and the thing that struck me was answering one question, he said that he's in the middle of his career, which is very interesting. I mean, he's only in his late 30s. Right. Golfers regularly golf until their 50s and 60s.
We're out of time. It flew by.
It flew right by.
Flew by like nobody's business. But I tell you what, log on to CompeteRadio.com. There's news, information, hot topics, and more. Buddy will be back next week. Thank you for joining us, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
All right, AJ. Let's go to that commercial, and then let's prepare for our next adventure.
Yes.
We'll be back.
Please support our advertisers and sponsors by telling them you heard their commercial on Compete Radio.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more.
1480 KPHX, Phoenix.
Compete Radio.
Welcome back, boys and girls. It is now 1 o'clock.
Yes, it is.
Second hour of Compute Radio. I'm your host, Josh Fourier, here with the ultra gorgeous, fabulous, wonderful
AJ Johnson.
Oh.
He's like pumping me up for something.
Whoa,
I don't know.
whoa. There will be no pumping of up anywhere in the studio today. Oh, AJ.
He must need another Diet Coke.
I got it right here. Right here next to my deer antler spray. Operation Iron Snare. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, actually I do. It's the funniest thing I've seen
sounds
in a
like
long time.
Sounds like an Alabama thing.
Okay. Well, Operation Iron Snare was put on by the Alabama Police Department by the Opelika.
The Oompa Loompa?
Opelika.
Opelikas.
Opelika, Alabama Police Department.
All right.
What they decided to do was they partnered up with the Alabama Auburn team game.
Sure.
And they lured deadbeat dads that weren't paying their child support by giving them quote unquote free tickets to the Alabama Auburn game. Now, for those of you who know the rivalry between those two teams, you know it is very big, and it is a game that is looked forward to every year. So these deadbeat dads decided that, yeah, if I can get something for free, I'm going to go get it. And they walked right into a trap. And they were immediately arrested and taken directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
I think that's awesome.
The cops... The cops took...
Well... Oh, the 90s.
That show is still on.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, they show episodes from last year now.
Really?
Yeah, on Fox.
I thought that show was canceled a decade ago.
Oh, no.
Wow. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh!
Nearly a dozen dads were arrested, taken into custody, and booked into the jail. As a result, the individuals who were supposed to receive the child support, the moms and other dads that were supposed to receive the child support, got the tickets.
Right on. Kind of reminds me of a show they did in Phoenix with Sheriff Joe Arpaio. A lot of people do not like him, I understand.
Right.
I don't approve of what he's done in this situation either. But what happened is these producers went to Sheriff Joe and they said, hey, we want to do a reality show, and we want to find people with warrants out and tell them they've just won this huge makeover. So they have, like, this thug dude that they bring in for one of the scenes in the show.
Yeah.
Tough thug dude. Lays back in the chair, gets the cucumbers on his face, the cucumber mask, like, head wrapped up in a towel, pedicure, manicure, he's fully relaxed. Then the cameras bust in with 5 cops, and they're like, hey, you're under arrest, buddy. He's like, oh, okay. Thinking it's a joke. And then comes, like, the warrant stuff. They start telling everything on national television. I was like, that's just humiliating. That is wrong. If you had... you run one of those stupid photo radars, and now you have a bench warrant out because you didn't pay the ticket. Then, next thing you know, you're on reality TV getting arrested.
Well, I think that since there's new and creative ways to commit crimes, i.e., electronic crimes,
Kodak printers,
things like that, people getting on all sorts of stuff through the internet, I think that law enforcement officials have to come up with even craftier ways to catch their criminals.
Yeah, but come on. Televising it on national TV, prime time as a new show that they're making profit on, for the sheriff to be cool with that is just... It shows his character, I think, which is lacking in many areas.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Are you a Sheriff Joe lover?
I haven't been in the state long enough to say either way.
Let me just tell you, this guy has something called Tent City.
I've seen that. I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah. Tents out in the desert with no AC, like in the heat. They just have fans, I think, and they make their prisoners wear pink underwear. And I've heard rumors, I've never been to Tent City, but I've heard rumors that they feed you green bologna.
Yes.
Have you heard that too?
Yes.
Okay. I just think, come on now. I mean, in the heat all day, I can barely stay outside long enough to get some fresh air.
Wow.
Well, it's just hot and humid. It's gross.
It is gross.
How's everybody doing with your lunch? Are we on dessert yet?
Sorry if we just spoiled it for you. But,
Sheriff Joe spoils a lot of appetites.
Did you hear about the collective bargaining agreement with the NFL that the players and the coaches make about testing for HGH?
Why, yes, AJ, I have.
Oh, don't sound all scripted there.
Well, I just found it, actually. Yeah, the story you're talking about where the players are going to have random HGH testing, right?
Right. Now, my question is, do we hear about drug use more in the NFL or in Major League Baseball?
Do we hear about it more?
Correct. Now,
I think it depends what season it is.
Well, see, I think that we hear about it more in Major League Baseball than we do in the NFL, because the NFL polices their own players and coaches.
Apparently the MLB is about to.
Yeah, apparently. However, like I said, you don't see a lot of court cases about NFL players going to court for using HGH or any other type of steroid. You see them benched, you see them kicked off the team, you see that, but you don't see all of the legal happenings going on.
I think it's rampant in any professional sport, college sports. I think it's just a rampant part of life. I think people that aren't even involved in sports are doing it. America has become a nation of medicating, and we do whatever we can do to get medicated, whether it be antidepressants or steroids. It's for our own reasons that instead of doing natural remedies, we'll just take a pill or inject something. And I think that's what our country's become. I think it's just as rampant in baseball as it is in football.
So where's the pressure coming from in order for athletes to perform so well that they have to resort to using steroids?
Well, obviously for athletes, the pressure is coming from, for obvious reasons. They have to be in the best physical shape they can be, and if drugs can get you a couple steps higher physically, then I think that's why they're doing it.
No, I guess I'm asking, where's the scapegoat? Who is it that is putting this much pressure on athletes? Is it the athlete themselves? Is it the coach?
I think it's the paychecks. The paychecks. And then whenever there's talks of trades and all of this kind of stuff, or pay raises, or whatever is going to happen in the next season, I think a lot of it has to do with, they all know they have a very limited amount of time in their career. And they need to do and make as much money as they can, because after their career is over, there might be nowhere else for them to go except for public appearances. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I think that they do this to enhance themselves as much as they can physically, to make as much money as they can, to perform the best, get all the touchdowns, whatever. The better you are, the more money you make, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But these sports were founded on a natural athlete.
Yeah. Natural
athleticism by the players in order to play the game.
And our country was founded on a free market, AJ.
Wow.
No, okay.
Whoa.
Times change.
Okay.
Times change.
All right. So, on to a slightly sadder topic.
How could anything be sadder than that? That does make me sad whenever it's very few people, thousands of people would want to be a pro athlete. And when you actually get that opportunity to potentially jeopardize everything because of illegal drug use, I think that's bottom of the barrel sadness.
Well,
It gets worse.
It gets worse sometimes because, for example, defensive tackle Mike Patterson for the Philadelphia Eagles has a brain condition where he might have to have surgery in order to alleviate the problems he's having.
It's this malformation of blood vessels, right? And they say it's right outside his brain. They refer to it as AVM.
Yeah.
And it actually caused a seizure.
Yeah, it caused a seizure while he was at training camp at Lehigh University.
But they are almost 100% sure that it was not football related.
Right.
Right. Okay, so I have a quote here. It says, with today's medicine, there's just a ton of options, and everyone wants to jump right in with surgery because that's what's been happening. Not just with this particular case, but with anything. This is from Burkholder? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Rick Burkholder.
Yeah. He goes on to say, there are so many other avenues out there, so it would be foolish for me to even speculate what's going to happen with Mike. We handle football injuries all the time, but this is a neurological problem. So this is obviously very serious. It's dealing with something, right there close to his brain, caused him to have a seizure. At least he, wasn't driving or anything like that. He was with people who were ready to help as soon as he had the problem. So
yeah. So we here at Compete Radio wish Mr. Patterson all the best.
All the best.
And we hope that he recovers quickly, and we hope that his medical issues will be taken care of.
And Tim Tebow will pray for you.
We're going to talk about Tim Tebow in the roundtable session next.
Yeah. Can we just give a brief rundown of who he is right now, though?
Okay.
Okay.
Tim Tebow.
He's praying for everybody.
He's praying mainly
mainly himself.
Exactly, mainly himself. Tim Tebow is a quarterback that was picked up by the Denver Broncos in 2010. And apparently Tim Tebow feels as though that he is good enough to be the starting quarterback. And that's not just from his perspective. Apparently that's from God's perspective to Tim Tebow. So we're going to have a discussion about it and see where Mr. Tebow is right now on the depth chart in Denver.
Can I just quote him real quick?
No, save it for the roundtable. Oh, okay, fine. Be that way.
No, okay, we'll save it.
Yeah, save it for that.
Okay. It's just I'm so infatuated with people because you see people all over the place all the time telling them that God is giving them these messages. Like there were 4 potential Republican candidates that said God told them to run in the next election. Well, why would God tell 4 people to compete against each other to run as a Republican nominee? And then we had George Bush, who said that God told him to go to Iraq and start this huge mess, and we know how that turned out.
Sadly, yes.
I just think when you have voices in your head telling you what you should and should not do,
you should seek professional help.
It's not God, I promise. He's not talking to you. God is not telling you to go to war with another country.
You don't think so? But wait a minute. What about that whole thing with Moses and the burning bush?
Well, let me say this. I have nothing against Christianity, but it's statements like these that people put themselves up on this pedestal so high that God really gives. If God would say something, He would really care about this guy going to the NFL. Really, we have a huge recession, economic problems. Our credit limit was just downgraded. Come on.
And they get millions to play a professional sport.
Let's get that round table. We'll be back.
This is Compete Radio.
You push me, hold me, all I want is set free, get me on my knees. I'm falling, aching, breaking, I can't even breathe. You need me, tease me, never seem to please me, I'm about to scream. I can't even breathe, you can't control me.
All right, boys and girls, welcome back to Compete Radio. I am your host, Josh Fourier, here with the fabulous
AJ Johnson.
Hi, AJ.
Hi.
Here at our roundtable, we have the ultra marvelous, fabulous, wonderful, unbelievable Alfonso Chavez.
To quote Marcus Bachman, hey!
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. And then to Alfonso's right, we have Denny.
Hello.
Denny O'Neill.
How are we doing today?
The one and only.
Yes.
All right. We're doing well, Denny. Before we get started, I just wanted to clear something up, AJ.
What's that, Josh?
All right. So last week we were talking about the transgendered issue.
Yeah.
I've received some messages.
Uh-oh.
Some emails.
And what were they pertaining to?
They were pertaining to Alfonso.
What about him?
Well, on last week's show, we kind of got into it, right?
We I wouldn't say we got into it. We had a
we got
strong
the emotions
debate.
going. I got the emotions going.
It was a impassioned debate. I guess that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah. Well, people for some reason think that we hate each other, and to set the record straight right now, I totally love Alfonso. He is not only an amazing coworker, but he is genuinely a good friend. So there's nothing at all.
I hope we read about this on TMZ that there's a celebrity feud between you and
Do you hate?
That would totally raise our profile.
Do you hate me, Alfonso?
I don't hate you.
Do you dislike me?
Well, the segment's 15 minutes, so we'll find out.
Wow.
Actually, I do consider Josh a dear friend of mine, so much so that we say cool things to each other and we laugh about it.
And we need Jesus. Are you ready for a miracle?
Sorry if that.
Sing it, Patty.
All right, AJ, simmer down now, sugar. Simmer down. All right.
That's right. It's not Sunday yet.
Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. We got some Jesus music on the Progressive Talk station. That is a first. No, that's bad. There was a reason, though, right, AJ? We're playing the church music, Christian music.
We're playing Patti LaBelle. Tim Tebow is a quarterback for the Denver Broncos who was picked up as a first-round draft pick for the 2010 season.
Broncos.
Hush.
I just do that with every team now.
Okay.
I figure I'll get one right.
I'm a Bronco hater.
Okay.
Anyway.
Broncos.
Tim Tebow feels as though that he'll be able to make it as the lead quarterback for the Broncos this season. And that's not just his ultra confident, self-talking. According to Tim Tebow, God's talking to him, and God will make it so.
Is this in any way comparable to the way God spoke to George Bush, telling him to go to war with Iraq?
I am
Is this
unsure
the
of that
same
fact.
God?
I don't know.
Is this the same God that told 4 Republican potential candidates to run for the presidency in 2012? All 4 of them?
It's possible. It's possible, but
sometimes God does do things to humble people. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, but Tim Tebow hasn't been a loser according to his resume, right, Denny?
Yeah, his resume is quite impressive. He's North American's high school player of the year. He's won the Heisman. He's got 2 national titles. He's a hero on and off the court. Off the field. Faith's got to play something in it somewhere. True,
but when is faith a little too much?
When is it cockiness?
Yes. Is there such a thing as too much faith or too little confidence, or should there be an equal mixture of both?
Well, it's like I told one of my atheist friends. What if you're wrong?
You have an atheist friend?
I have several.
Wow.
I have several.
Yeah.
Just what if you're wrong? Too much faith, how can you measure it? It's either going to make you or break you if you do it, and if you don't have a choice.
No, but just within, look, from a personal standpoint, and here we go. We're going to get into it now. Ready, Alfonso? Okay. From a personal standpoint, I think if you're hearing words in your head from God, I think you need to go see a doctor. I don't think God talks to people. I think that people that claim that God is speaking to them need to get some medication. They need some help. But what also
really intrigues me about Christianity is that there are so many different denominations within Christianity that have all these different rules, and depending on what denomination you're in, if you do or do not follow these rules that they have within the denomination, that can determine if you go to heaven or hell, Christian or not. So Christianity to me seems to have a very common message if you step back and look at it. But once you get involved with the denominations and everything else, all the different types of churches and organizations, that's whenever it gets really tricky, and there's all these rules that start coming into play. And that's what turns me off of Christianity.
Well, Josh, let me ask you, how many shirts do you have? Do you just have a white shirt? Do you have a blue shirt?
I have all kinds of shirts.
Okay. So why would Christianity be any different than a shirt? You know, there's different ways to wear your beliefs.
Because we're not talking about a blue God and a white God and a red God. We're talking about God.
Right, but he comes in many different images.
No, but it's just one God.
But he still has different profiles.
According to you.
No, according to the Bible, there is one God.
And according to the Quran, there's a different one. And according to
we're
whatever...
we're talking
Vedas
about... Well...
Yeah, the Kabbalah, the...
Yeah.
I'm talking about standard North American United States Christianity. What 99% of Christians practice is out of the King James Version of the Bible. And in that Bible, there is one God.
I think that statement's a little bit maybe outdated because there are a lot more newer translations that people are using these days.
But do you really think that they're sticking with them? Or because this is what I've heard, even with the new translations, I prefer them actually because it's easier to understand what's being said. It's not so this, thou, he, she, taught you.
Here's one thing I can tell you. One of my pastors has told me, you can use the Bible to prove any point. You can make any argument and use the Bible to prove whatever you want it to say.
Precisely.
And the difference
is because it's so inconspicuous, though.
Well, here's the trick. You got to read it yourself and find out what it says, and that's the hard part. Most people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to invest that much time and study it. And it's kind of like.
But there's so many different ways. Like I could read a verse, and you could read a verse. Mm-hmm. We could all read a verse and get a totally different message.
Well, that's because we all have different lives, and you might watch any story and say, or any movie. Like, let's say Fight Club. Now, one person who has mental issues might say, this is a guy who has multiple personality disorder. And somebody else who's an athlete might say, this is a guy who's into sport fighting. And you might talk to a cop and say, this is a guy who's involved in illegal activity. So it just depends on what you've experienced on how you apply it. But Tim Tebow, personally, getting back to Tim Tebow, on topic.
Thank you.
Because that's why we're here. I think there's a difference between of having faith and being arrogant. And I think Tim Tebow got a little bit too arrogant in his faith. And, I think there's a lot of people... Well, did you get to the point of what actually did happen?
No, I didn't, but you were alluding to it, so I was going to let you go with it. But Tim Tebow's listed as number 2 as the second string, as the backup quarterback, and apparently it's not getting to his head, and God's not telling him either. So he's winning the popular vote in Denver with all of the fans because they don't have a lot of confidence in Kyle Orton, but Tim Tebow hasn't had the experience on the field in the NFL to show the fans that he can do the job.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about mainstream America. If there's an unattractive guy who can do the job better than everybody else, and a really attractive guy who can do the job, can do it all right, they're going to think the more attractive guy can do a better job.
Right.
And here's the other thing. When it gets down to it in sports, people want their team to win.
That's true.
And if the better looking guy doesn't win, he quickly loses favor.
Did we actually read the quote from this guy? Let's just read the quote so we know exactly what he said. Others who say I won't make it are wrong. He goes on to say, they don't know what I'm capable of and what's inside me. My family and my friends have been bothered by what's going on, and I tell them to pay no attention to it. I'm relying, as always, on my faith. So he'll make it in this league. The Bible told him so.
Probably just not this year.
Well, you know, God works in mysterious ways.
I was just going to say that.
You know what? This is the NFL. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And
well, that's not just the NFL. That's the world. Anything can happen. That's not special to the NFL.
But if you put the ratio down of accident potential, you know, there's a lot of things that can happen in the first several games of a preseason or an actual season. I'm going to be subtle on this one because I like the guy. I like his faith, and I like his strength in conveying the faith. So, you know, it's a wait and see. And when you say he doesn't have experience in the NFL, I don't have an argument there. But again, going back to his basic resume, it's pretty impressive.
That's all fine and good, but like I said, it's one of those things where he hasn't had a chance to prove himself in the big leagues.
But the thing that gets me is he's saying God is telling him that he's going to make it. And I don't like people walking around saying God is telling them what to do and where to go. And I don't think God works that way. I don't think you hear this voice in your head from God saying you're going to make it.
Well, I can tell you this much. We are humans, and we're prone to human error. And I've had an experience where I've said, God told me, when in reality it was, I want. So
right,
and I don't know. Maybe he did have this experience where God said he would be a starting quarterback. Maybe he's going to get traded. You know, we don't know. Yeah. And the other thing I want to add to that is a lot of people would say, "Oh, well, what happened? God didn't answer your prayer." Well, to that I say, God always hears your prayer. Sometimes the answer is just no.
Exactly. You know, in the case of Bryant McKinney, he was hoping that maybe he'd be on the team this year, and he gets to camp, and the Vikings let him go. You know? It's pretty much the same thing. He's an offensive lineman, but the reason why he was cut is because he was too large.
As in fat?
A lineman.
Precisely my point. Offensive lineman. He showed up to camp at 400 pounds this year. That's 65 pounds greater than he was playing at last year.
Hey, I say if a 7-year-old can play with adult men playing soccer,
no,
then you let the guy play.
But it's the position and what the position warrants. He's an OL, man.
Well, here's one thing about playing any sport, even one where you stop every 3 seconds and switch teams out a million times during the game, is that you still have to be in shape to play. Now, if he gained 65 pounds and he maintained his speed and has the same kind of endurance as he had when he left, then I'm all for it. But
Alfonso, the guy brought another 7-year-old with him. You know, 65 pounds is a 7-year-old child. You know. Well,
if I lost a 7-year-old child myself from my own body, you know, I'd be more attractive too. But they still wouldn't let me play. But where I'm going with this is even another point, is that there was a lockout for 4.5 months, right? And the NFL has created this whole system of money. Everything's money. You don't really hear kids say anymore, I want to be the best player in the NFL. They say, I want to play in the NFL and be rich. So, well, yeah, if you're not paying somebody to show up for work, don't be surprised when they're not ready when it starts.
Well, now let's take this a little further here, because if you're talking about coming in,
we're out of time. I'm so sorry. Why don't we'll finish this up right after the break. We'll just wrap it up. Hold on to that thought, Denny. Log on to CompeteRadio.com. AJ, we'll take a break.
Yes, we will.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is Compete Radio.
See Suites Hotels.
Compete Radio.
You push me, hold me, all I wanna set free, got me on my knees. I'm falling, aching, breaking, I can't even breathe. You need me, tease me, never seem to please me, I'm about to scream. I can't even breathe. You can't control me.
and welcome back. I'm your host, Josh Fourier, here with
The wonderful
No,
AJ Johnson.
No. Only I can say that, AJ. Here with the fabulous
AJ Johnson.
And still with us, thank you for staying with us through the break. We have, of course, the wonderful Alfonso Chavez.
Thank you. I think AJ's been hanging around with Tim Tebow too much.
Oh, stop.
And the all-familiar Denny O'Neill.
Welcome.
I'm welcome. No, you're welcome.
No, I just want you to know how happy I am to see you.
Well, you better be.
Yeah.
You better be.
Don't ever ask me back.
Okay.
To see you on the radio.
To see me on the radio. Okay, before we took a break, yes, AJ, go ahead.
We were talking about Bryant McKinney, who is a Vikings offensive lineman who was cut from the team this season because he came into camp weighing 65 pounds more than he did last year at 400 pounds.
Basically, he was too fat. Now, Denny, you had an opinion?
Well, yeah, no. The point was, we're talking about the lockout in the 4.5 months that he sat, feeding quite heavily. He was under contract.
Feeding quite heavily.
Well, 65 pounds. That's another person, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
But you're under contract,
Mm-hmm.
and if you've got $5.4 million on the line, you might want to eat a wheat thin.
Or not eat a wheat thing.
Exactly. Put the steak down and let's go with the fruits and vegetables a little bit because
Lay off me, I'm starving.
Stop.
Hey, this is a business.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a very big business. So why they would want to even take a risk on a guy that now, in my opinion, I don't care what kind of condition you're in, 400 pounds, that's the size of a small steer.
Maybe he ate the contract. The $5 million.
Okay, stop.
No, I say this kiddingly, but the reality of it is this is a professional sport.
Yeah.
You've got to be at the top of your game.
Yeah.
And, if you got a haul, and have to take 2 trips, it's not fitting the NFL.
But aren't they supposed to be big?
Well, big is one thing.
Okay.
A wall is another.
You're supposed to create you're supposed to be one in the wall, not the wall yourself.
Right.
Okay.
But could you imagine trying to knock that guy over, though?
Well, I'm more worried about how he's going to get off you.
and he might be a little too top heavy.
Yeah, it may not take that much. But, Alfonso brought up a good point. I don't know what he ran the 40 in. If he didn't lose any speed, he could be an asset. But is his stamina there? That's a lot of weight. But enough said on that. That's just my opinion.
And it's a lot more work to carry 74 pounds extra.
Now, that's another question I had is, since they're going to cut him, the Vikings are obviously going to avoid that $5.4 million salary cap for him being on the team. Did the team cut him because of the money, or did they cut him because of his size?
Jesus told them to.
Oh, stop it! I think personally, it was sending a message. Okay, it was a perfect opportunity to put the fear of God into the team and say we're no longer going to tolerate. We only want the professionals to be here.
Well,
the people that believe it.
We all hired you. We pay all of you. Come ready to work when
That's
you
right.
show up. I do understand that point of view.
Okay, but then you have players like Brett Favre. Okay, he wants to come back to the NFL.
He possibly is going to.
Yeah, he doesn't know the meaning of retirement, and therefore decides that I'm going to go try out again.
I think there's a little more shame out there for him to spread. Maybe he has another text message he can send.
But what does it say? The Dolphins are actually considering this.
Yeah.
You got to understand, Brett Favre
Publicity.
has got a wealth of knowledge. No matter if he was a consultant or if he was on the field, he's going to bring game to the team.
Okay, I understand that completely. However, he wants to come back as a player. He's 41. If he came back as a coach or a consultant, that would be a completely different story. But as a player and trying to get at least $2.2 million out of the team to play?
Well, I don't think money's an issue with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what? You get these young kids out there, they're 20, 22, 25, and then you have this old man at 41 out there leading by example. It's going to leave a lasting impression. Now, I don't know if he's retired more than Sugar Ray Leonard, I think it is, but the bottom line is he still has a wealth of knowledge, and he's got a good. Here we go back to the resumes, but he's got a good resume to follow him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he really slept. Didn't he make the playoffs after he retired, like twice?
I don't remember if it was twice or only once, and he tried the second year and didn't make it. I'll have to double check on that.
Okay.
But at what point do you cut him off?
Well,
I mean, it's just like McKinney. I mean, do we let him stay on the team because he's 400 pounds? Just like, do we let Brett Favre on because he's got a wealth of knowledge, or do we, have him be a part of the team but just not on the field?
Well, here's another thing to consider. Do you remember how much publicity it generated in the last 2 years when Brett Favre decided to come back, or like the last 2 times he came back? How much publicity it brought to those teams? Because every time they mentioned Brett Favre, they mentioned quarterback for such and such team.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
More recently, it was the Minnesota Vikings. Correct?
Right.
Okay. And maybe they want more publicity, maybe the Dolphins want more publicity. Maybe they feel that that's going to be a couple $1 million well spent to be on Deadspin, every couple of weeks.
So it's just I feel as though that it's one of those things where he's not going to get the kind of respect he's looking for. Since he's old.
Who's not going to give him respect?
Who's not going to give him respect? The fans, other players. Yeah, they might see him as a good player, but his prime has passed. And they're going to call him all sorts of names on the field. They're going to call him stuff like grandpa and old fart and things like that on the field. And the fans are going to sit there and say, man, he's just an old Dodger trying to prove a point that he can get to the Super Bowl again.
Who contacted who, though?
I believe it was the Dolphins who contacted him.
Exactly. And I think Alfonso hit it very well, and I think that even if you call it Farble fuel,
oh God,
he still has the zing to, otherwise he wouldn't be there. I mean, he's obviously not in his prime time, but he still has an arm that's a rocket.
Okay.
And he has the knowledge, and if he can pass that knowledge on.
And look, we're sitting here talking about him, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
So
exactly.
We are, aren't we?
What kind of products do you think Brett Favre will need in the locker room, though? Given his age.
Leadership.
I would say a phone without a camera to start. That would be number one.
Yeah, I was going to say some Ben Gay too, and maybe some Aspercream or.
He ain't never been gay. I can tell you that right now.
Well, at least the Dolphins didn't send out an email,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. They did not send out an email like the 49ers did.
They sent. Who was that regarding?
Taylor Mays.
Taylor Mays.
Yeah.
They sent an email to every single NFL team trying to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
Wait, don't you feel important when someone would send out a first-class email?
First-class email.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously they couldn't pick up a phone since no one has cell phones or satellite phones.
Well, some people respond better to email.
It's the
could have been a text message.
We're texting. Yeah.
It's the first time it's ever been done in the NFL. Believe it or not.
I need to get these events out of the way real quick, and then we can get back into it. Okay. I just want to make sure we cover the events before the end of the show.
Okay.
All right, so we have August 9th through the 14th, Montreal Pride. Anyone going to Montreal?
I could. I have my passport.
But you're not.
No.
Then we have Market Days in Boys Town. That's August 13th through 14th in Chicago. We have the Carnival in Provincetown. That's August 14th through 19th, and of course Provincetown. We have Fire Island Pines. It's on the beach in the Pines, August 19th through the 21st on Fire Island. Alfonso, you want to go to Fire Island?
That sounds like a scandal waiting to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that makes it much more fun.
But if somebody from Fire Island Convention Visitors Bureau wanted to give me a trip, I wouldn't turn it down.
Okay. And then we have Camp 2011 Woods Campground in Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania. That's August 19th through the 22nd. And then, of course, the one and only Gay Softball World Series, August 29th through September 3rd in Chicago at the Woods Campground.
Go softball.
And just real quickly, a big thank you to our sponsors, USA Realty, 10 United, Reflect Green, Jock Strap Queen, Embassy Suites, Compete, Magazine, of course, and Indulge Spa in Palm Springs. All right, so we have about a couple minutes left. Let's get to it.
Let's wrap this up. Okay, so...
Wrap it up.
We were talking about Taylor Mays, who plays for the 49ers at this point. Well,
I love the picture they put of him in this article. He's like, "Were you did that about me?"
Can we say fire sale anymore?
Let's bring it down.
Let's go with sidewalk sale.
There you go.
But let's bring it down to our level, okay? AJ.
Do you want to take it that low?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
We got to get low. All right, AJ. How would you feel if your boss
Sorry, go ahead.
behind your back sent an email out to every other radio station in the Phoenix metro area trying to get rid of you?
Well, I would have to sit there and honestly take stock of what I was doing and whether or not it was justified. If it was justified, then I'd be standing behind him going, yeah, let's see what you can get for me. And then on the other side, if I feel as though that I've been doing a good job, then I'll vehemently just go against it and be livid. So there.
Now, do you think Taylor Mays, do you think he knew about this email that was being sent out, or do you think it was that discreet?
I don't know, but it sounds like they weren't concerned with being discreet.
Yeah.
But since this is pro sports and there's a lot of money flying around in the league, I smell a slander lawsuit. Does anyone else?
Big
because
time.
This, I mean, apparently this wasn't a big secret that they were trying to, unload some shrapnel from their backyard. And I don't know how bad does that make that player look? Who wants to pick up your sidewalk sale toothpaste?
Yeah. Right.
Slappy seconds.
I just think there's a real big undercurrent here. There's something that's happened. I mean, in order to degrade a player like that, it's, in my opinion, there was some animosity built up with either him and the team or the coaches, or he's done something out of line because opening bid at a cent, that's pretty brutal.
And the validity of this is from the Yahoo News Network, so this is not some off the wall news organization. This is obviously a legitimate story. And to just think that the 49ers would actually do this and do this to one of their own players, it's just, he must have really messed up.
And that's the other thing that we need to touch upon very quickly is that...
Touch it, H.A.
The person who actually reported it is Adam Schefter, who was a sportscaster in Denver for the longest time and then was promoted and taken on by ESPN. So Adam Schefter was the one who originally reported this story about the mass email. So is Adam Schefter in danger of losing his job for reporting
He's just reporting.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
news.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Right.
Well, if only it were that simple.
Yeah. But, I'm kind of curious if this isn't in the new bargaining negotiations that went on that email,
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe they should try posting him on Craigslist.
Yeah, let's look at the small print, shall we?
Yeah, Craigslist or even maybe eBay.
For sale.
Yeah, start bidding at 1 cent.
He could just go into partnership with Roger. Well, how do you say his last name? Skedd. Roger Skedd.
Roger Skedd.
You can't say stud.
Oh no, he didn't. Sorry.
Be a naked butler. Hey, Alfonso, thanks for being here. Denny, same to you. We need to go.
This is Compete Radio.
Hey, Phoenix, this is Josh, host of Compete Radio. I wanted to thank you for your continued support for LGBT programming. This is the only LGBT talk show broadcast in Phoenix. We thank KPHX and all of our listeners for your continued support. Log on to CompeteRadio.com 24 hours a day for more. You're listening to the Valley's Progressive Talk on 1480 KPHX, Phoenix.